credit report? No, because I'm not going to let it go 30 days past. But let's say I paid it late. I paid it late one day. That $10 with the $25 to $35 late fee, now $10 cost me 35 or $45, and that's not happening. Ain't nobody got time for that. So I'm not doing that. So you guys make sure you find a way. You find a way that's going to work for you to get that done. I'll tell you this too. Like, I have no idea when my car payment is due. I just don't know what day of the month that is due on. Not because I do it like the little $10 payment, but because initially and early on, I said I'm going to make this payment on the 24th. So in my head, since usually I pay things a day or two before it's actually due, it's probably due on the 25th or the 26th of the month. But I've always said I was going to pay it on the 24th, so I have it set. I use my bank account for that particular one, and I have it set. It goes out on the 24th every month. Now, I would like to go on and do it myself, actually physically go in and put it in there and to make sure it goes. Some people set up recurring. I don't necessarily want to set up recurring, because what if I don't have that money in my bank account that particular day? And that's a whole nother issue, right? So I usually go in every month and I set it for the 24th to make sure that it goes out on the 24th. So you do what works for you, and maybe not everything, one system works all the way. Sounds to me like I'm using like 2-3 different systems itself. So you do what works for you. Another thing to help you rebuild your credit. Good credit starts with having accounts on your report, on your actual credit report. Old accounts, new accounts, current accounts. You've got to have some accounts. So if you think that I don't owe anyone means that you have good credit or to help you with your credit, then you're sadly mistaken. So I know it may seem a little backwards, a little backwards, but look at it from the business standpoint or the business view. So if you have no track record to judge your trustworthiness about, then how am I supposed to trust you? How am I supposed to know that you're actually going to pay this money back? So as a business, a credit card company, a mortgage company, a bank, a credit union, etc., if I lend you money, they lend you money by risk. So they're calculating risk on you. And if they need to see how you can actually handle money. Are you going to handle it responsibly? And how you've paid others. Did you pay others responsibly? And that's how they're judging you. Yes, they are judging you. That's how they're judging you. That's how they're looking at your credit worthiness. Your credit score is indicative and a huge part of what they're looking at to see. Does this guy fit? Does this lady fit the mold of the kind of customer that we have? Will they pay us back? And then if we have a question about it, we say, well, yeah, we can lend them some money, but just to cover ourselves a little bit, their interest rates needs to be a little bit higher just to cover us. So if we're going to lend them $1,000, these people may or may not pay us back this $1,000. We might only get $800 back from them before they stop paying. So we need to increase the interest rate on them so we can get our money back faster at a faster clip. And if we get it all back, great. Then that's just gravy, all right, for the business. So that's how they are looking at it. So you got to make sure that you have some credit. You've got to get some credit. Start with a store credit card, if you will. One of those big box stores, start with one of those. Get a secure card. Get a small, and when I say small, get a small loan, $250, $500 from a credit union. Get one of those. That'll help you rebuild your credit as well. Now, a bank won't touch you if you got a low credit score. Credit union may do so, but a bank typically is not going to touch you if you've got a credit score, especially a small personal loan. It's not what they do. They like to collateralize it, so that means they need something from you or something that they can hold the title to, whether it be a mortgage or a car or whatever, to give you that kind of money, because they're definitely not in the business of losing money at all. So they want to make sure that they'll be able to recoup whatever they gave out to you guys. So if you have a low credit score or you have a lack of credit, then the possibilities of getting some from a bank to help rebuild your credit is about slim to none. Now, there's probably some banks out there, maybe they're local banks or a regional bank or one of these bigger banks that has a program that can help you with that. If you've experienced that, please contact me, because I would love to shout them out and give that information out so other people listening to the show can go about getting a loan that may help them build their credit as well. So even if you have to go to one of those personal loan companies. There are personal loan companies sitting on corners all over the place. They deal with lower credit scores, higher risk individuals. They deal with them all the time. They will probably go ahead and give you a loan. The interest rates are going to be higher. Even if you go in there with decent credit, that interest rate is going to be pretty high. But if you're trying to rebuild your credit and you do something that's small, you pay it back a little bit over time, then that's going to be a really good thing for you and your credit score. All right, let's take a pause for the calls right quick. Let's do a question of the day. We're a little bit more than halfway through the show, so let's do a question of the day today. And before I do, I got to give out a couple more shout-outs. I don't think I shouted out Vicky Walton. Vicky Walton celebrated her birthday, so happy birthday to you, Vicky. Jamia Steele, she celebrated her birthday, so happy birthday to you, Jamia. Thomas Agnew, my man Thomas Agnew, part of the Cavalry, as far as I'm concerned. Thomas Agnew, happy birthday to you, my man. And I got to shout out Ronaldo Berry. He celebrates his birthday as well. Happy birthday. My aunt, you guys, my aunt Sharon King celebrates her birthday on Monday, July the 1st. So happy birthday to you, Aunt Sharon. Okay, let's jump to the question of the day. So the question of the day, and you can send in your questions as well. You might become a part of the 800 Credit Score Man show. Send in your question, 800@creditscoreman.com. You can email me there, or you can catch me on social media. So if it's on Instagram or if it's on Facebook, 800 Credit Score Man on both of them. On Twitter, I'm at @creditscore_man on Twitter. You catch me on Twitter, I'm going to always follow you back. I don't care what you do. I don't care what your profile look like. I'm going to follow you back on Twitter. So you want another Twitter follower, you want the 800 Credit Score Man to follow you, then you follow me on Twitter. That's at @creditscore_man. You can send me questions in those places as well. People send them to me to my DMs and inbox all of the time. This one happened to be an email, 800@creditscoreman.com. Came from Nicole out of Georgia. So here's what she said. I don't know if it really was a question. Well, it was a question, but here's what she said. I saw that I should remove my old addresses and employers from my credit report to help my score. Is that correct? So let me see. Let me tell you. Some actually, it was funny. I saw the same question. And I don't remember where it was, but it must have been in some kind of forum or what have you, dealing with finances or credit directly or whatever. And the person that was running this particular forum, who's supposed to be a person that knows a little bit about credit, actually said this. So my response back to Nicole, without telling her that I saw the same thing, and I don't know if we were in the same group or not, but I did see the same thing quite some time back, and maybe she's just running up on it. So her question is, should she be removing her addresses and employers from her credit report? And if she does remove them, does that actually help her score? No, it does not. No, that is incorrect. Those things have no bearing at all on your credit score. They are for information only, basically. Having that correct info actually on your credit report can actually be helpful for you. So here's an example. So you go to buy a car. It's after hours. So no one can verify your job and, all that stuff that they have to verify. But you have a decent credit score. You've got your down payment or whatever it is. Everything else works. You've got your pay stubs with you. And then they're looking at your credit report. Your address on your credit report matches your driver's license. So if it matches your pay stub too, then that's a hurdle that you've already crossed. So now the dealership's not concerned that you're lying about your employer or your address or anything of that nature, because it actually matches what's on your credit report. So then you may be able to drive off with your car that night, even though it's after hours. Even if you have to go back the next day to do something else, you may be able to drive off with that car then. So now, let's say that your application is marginal. Let's say it's a marginal application, no matter what you're doing. If there's a car, one of those personal loan places I just said, whatever it is. So you go in, you barely make it enough to afford the car. You've been on your job only 6 months. Your score is just above what you might be able to be approved for. Now your address, nor does your employer match what's on your credit report. So you're going to have to be verified. You're not going to be the person that's going to be able to drive off with the car and bring it back the next day. You're going to have to leave the car here. You're going to have to go back home and then come back the next day after we can call and verify your employment and verify your, how much money you make and verify where you live and all of those things, because your application in itself is marginal. You've got too many things that could be questionable on your credit report. Now, so to say and to answer your question, no, that's not correct. It's not going to help your credit score. That's not something that helps your credit score. If you want to get things removed, you might want to even get an inquiry removed before anything else that may help your credit report. Getting an inquiry removed, since I said that and stuck my foot in my mouth, doesn't get you back a whole bunch of points. So if you call yourself, I'm going to get these inquiries removed and I'm going to go up 20 points, that's not going to happen. You get your inquiries removed, you might go up 2, 3, 4, 5 points, maybe, if you were to get the inquiries removed. And again, even on inquiries, it has to be something that needed to be removed that you did not authorize to get that done. All right. But so those kinds of things, getting late payments, things of that nature, those are the kinds of things that help you with your credit report and your credit score, but not getting your addresses removed. Now, I will say this for my people: if you are running from collection agencies, bank, child support, or, something of that nature, it's not the best idea to have that updated on your credit report, because one of the tools that they use to find people is pulling your credit report. They will pull your credit report to see where you work at. They will pull your credit report and take a look at your accounts and see what accounts are up to date. So, this person has a Chase account. It's up to date. They absolutely are paying every month. Let's give Chase a call and see if we can verify their address, see if we can verify where they work at and things of that nature. So if you're one of those people, again, that are running from collections or child support or something of that nature, you're running from the law, then you might not want to have that. You might not want to have that updated because they will use that to find you. All right. So thank you, Nicole. Thank you so very much for contacting me at 800@creditscoreman.com. Thank you, Nicole from Georgia. You are officially a part of the 800 Credit Score Man Show family. All right. So I just finished telling you guys, about, things that you need to do when it comes to, you're getting your credit rebuilt and getting started and having accounts on your credit report. So you got to deal with the negatives. You have to deal with whatever negatives are on your credit report. If you got collections, you need to file a dispute on them. I don't care if you know it's yours or not. You never know. You might get lucky and it might come off your credit report. So if you have late payments, file a dispute on those bad boys too. Make sure that you do that. File those disputes on your credit report. And when you file those disputes, you're filing disputes with the credit bureaus. You're making them your go-between. They're basically working on your behalf. So place the ball in their court and make the company, because they're going to contact the company, make the company that says you're late or whatever it is, make them prove that you were actually late. And if you weren't late, then good for you. It'll come off your credit report or whatever it is. So you can also send goodwill letters. So you can send a goodwill letter asking a company to forgive your late payment and change it on your credit report. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't work. Some companies say, hey, you were actually late and we've got to report it by the law. Law says we got to report it. We can't help you out in that regard. But sometimes companies do. They will remove it if you've been a good customer and whatnot. You've only been late one time. If you had an account for 20 years, you had an account for 10 years, you had an account for 2 years, you could be one of their better customers, and they may go ahead and remove that from your record. They do that, then it's going to help your credit score. So you definitely got to deal with those negatives. All right. I've always tell you guys to all deal with your collections. And if you're dealing with your collections, I want you to start with your medical collections if you can. So if you got medical collections, you've got that copay, and it was $50, and you let that go to your credit. You let that go to your credit report. You need to go ahead and deal with that. Even if you got to pay all $50, it's going to be well worth it to make that payment to get that off of your credit report. Now that medical collection may or may not come off of your credit report, but it comes out of the calculation that's dragging your credit score down. So start with your medical ones and then worry and deal with other collections, whatever kind of other collections that you have on your credit report. But you do want to deal with them in some way, shape, or form. Even deciding I'm not going to deal with it is dealing with this particular collection on some front. So if you got a collection, it's 6 years old, and you've been in your collection is 6 years old, and you know because you've been listening to the 800 Credit Score Man show that it comes off in 7